World War II was the birthplace of modern close-quarters combat, and nothing defined it more than the submachine gun. Fast, compact, and deadly, SMGs were a game-changer in the streets of Stalingrad, the hedgerows of Normandy, and the jungles of the Pacific. But the question is, which country had the best one? Let's start with the iconic MP40, Germany's signature SMG. Chambered in 9mm, with a 32-round magazine, it was mostly issued to squad leaders, paratroopers, and vehicle crews. It had a relatively slow rate of fire, around 500 rounds per minute, which made it controllable, especially in close combat. But despite what Hollywood shows, not every German soldier carried one. They were never as common as rifles. Still, the MP40 earned respect for its reliability and sleek design. Now contrast that with the Soviet ppsh 41. This thing was a beast, firing a blistering 900 rounds per minute with a drum magazine that held up to 71 rounds. It was designed for mass production, stamped steel, easy to build, and durable in brutal Russian winters. Soviet doctrine favored close assaults, and the ppsh gave Red Army troops massive firepower. German soldiers feared it so much, they often picked them up off fallen Soviets and used them themselves. And then there's the American Thompson, or Tommy gun. Originally a gangster weapon from the 1920s, it was refined into the M1A1 version used in World War II. It fired .45 ACP, a heavy, hard-hitting round, and was beloved for its punch and reliability. The downside? It was heavy, and expensive to produce. That's why later in the war, the US began replacing it with cheaper alternatives like the M3 grease gun. On the other side of the Atlantic, the British introduced the Sten gun. Was it elegant? No. Was it reliable? Not always. But it was cheap, fast to build, and extremely simple. A must during the Blitz when Britain needed to arm quickly. Resistance fighters across Europe used Stens dropped by the RAF, and despite its quirks, it got the job done. You could make one for under 2 pounds. It was wartime minimalism in gun form. Honorable mentions go to the Finnish Suomi KP-31, with insane accuracy and fire rate, but it was too complex and costly for mass wartime use. The Italian Beretta M38 was beautifully made and reliable, but Italy struggled with logistics. And the French MAS-38 was, well, designed in peacetime and didn't leave much of a mark. So how do we define best? Is it the rate of fire, reliability, combat effectiveness, or how fast a nation could crank out thousands of them? The Thompson hit hard, but was too expensive. The Sten was cheap and simple. The MP40 was balanced and stylish. But the ppsh 41? It was a bullet hose, rugged, and mass-produced in the millions. If we're talking about wartime impact and battlefield dominance, the ppsh 41 may take the crown. Of course, every gun has its strengths and weaknesses, and no weapon wins a war alone. But when it comes to World War II submachine guns, one thing's clear: they brought an entirely new kind of firepower to the front lines. Which one do you think was the best? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe for more surprising military history every week.